Say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun die the Politico. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day of in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Maiyegun don't come.
We have emerged triumphant from all our foes. Through the crucible unscathed, we passed victorious. Our trumpets pealing the glorious song. Play it, sing it, all hail Biafra. Oh, hail Biafra. We shall always remember all that perished in the struggle for our freedom. All hail our heroes. Our prayer shall be known both day and night. Say them always, all hail Biafra.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó. Maiyegun láyàrí Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live. Share the broadcast that you are joining. It's going to be interesting. I've got just two things to talk about tonight. Then I'm going to open the line at some point, if time permits us, by the way. So, thanks for joining me. Share the broadcast before we get started.
Àṣírí àjẹlù kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun láyàrí Maiyegun number one. Bó bá ṣe.
Thank you.
Àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun láyàrí Maiyegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun láyàrí Maiyegun number one.
If you read the caption of the broadcast, that will prepare you into what you are about to listen to, possibly will propel you to also call in and contribute. Share this, like I said.
I
think I should smile more.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Tell them.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube.
Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who received the notification from YouTube, from Facebook, it's a pleasure having you on again tonight. Now, the caption of the broadcast is about the fraud that is about to hit you if you are living in Nigeria in 2022. I kind of like talking about these things so that people don't always express surprise when this whole thing comes to pass. And sometimes it does help people to also get prepared. You know what I mean? Nigeria will happen to every one of us differently until we all scream and put word to action to say enough. Until then, Nigeria is going to continue to happen to us differently. I hope it will be fair, or you will be prepared. And that is why conversations like this are very important. I shared them, pure, raw, and undiluted, enough for you to be able to picture yourself in the whole scenario and possibly join those who will resist. People are resisting, but the number is not that significant yet. So maybe when you are open up and when you have an access to information that you can easily process without all this grammar, blah, 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 all of these things, right? That actually keeps you poorer, confused, ignorant. Most of it dead. We have dead men walking in Nigeria. Many people who have, which Nigeria has happened to, destroyed. Some of them unprepared. Nigeria budgeted 17 trillion naira for 2022. If you break it down, you will realize that there is absolute nothing significant for the level of the poverty in that country, including the downtrodden, the majority of the population suffering the most of these greedy criminals' decisions, right? When you check that 17 trillion naira budget, as a layman, as an ordinary man, as they call us, ordinary Nigerians, right? You will realize that there is absolute nothing there for you. The only thing that is there for you is on how they are going to milk the few of you who are still trying to hack a living, and then possibly having some little savings. The plan for 2023 is how to strangulate more of you and push you further into poverty. And this is why. Usually when people put a budget together, you consider all things, including what would be the, it's like an investment. Government don't have business in business, right? What government does is that government try to create an enabling environment for businesses, ideas, money to what do you call it, to grow, so that they, as a tax collector, rent seekers, they can take from whatever you make. But in the case of Nigeria, the greed of the selfish criminals in government has led to many businesses shutting down. They don't care. Usually, if America want to write their budget in 2022 now, right, they will factor in businesses that are going to be affected by the coronavirus in 2022. Those affected this year, those jobs lost. Because when people are out of job, government become broke. What does government do when they broke? They go borrowing. And when they go borrowing, their people go sorrowing. That's the case of Nigeria, right? 17 trillion naira budgeted. And let me give you the, the kind of better breakdown to make you understand this, right? 17 trillion. From that money, Nigeria has no 17 trillion to spend. No. Nigeria has no kobo, no savings to get to 17 trillion. However, they budgeted that. Now, if you break it down in parts, 4 trillion, 4.2 trillion of that money is to go into fighting Boko Haram, Fulani terrorists, and every other criminals out there, especially the ones that has now become a big industrial business, terrorism in northern Nigeria. 4 trillion, 4.2 trillion will go into that. In your own opinion, and that's how it has been every year. 3.5 trillion, 4 trillion, 3 trillion, 4 trillion. They said they were using the money to pay the soldiers better wages, to get them better equipment. But guys, in the last 60 years, if you check the budget of they call it the defense budget, as the terrorism escalates in Nigeria, so is the budget for the security in Nigeria. So if you have to be honest, in the last 6 years, 4 trillion, 3 trillion, 2 trillion, 4 trillion, 4 trillion, 4.2 trillion. Would you say the investment has yielded any peace in Nigeria? Has it yielded anything? I'll come back to that. 4.2 trillion in your 17 trillion will go into fighting terrorism, paying those fat cows as well. The other one is, since they have always been, kind of borrowing, they will need to service the debt, not pay back the loan. No. There is difference between you paying back your loan and you servicing your debt, which means you are paying the interest accrued over time, or the interest expected to be accrued over the time. Now, in Nigeria 2022, they are going to spend almost 5 trillion naira servicing debts. Odelu, the 9 trillion from 17 trillion. Remove it. Remove 9 trillion from 17 trillion. How much do you have? 8 trillion. Now, then look further. They need to build 21-bed hospitals inside Aso Rock. That will cost, 14-bed hospital. That will cost them 22 billion naira. It's inside that budget. They need to renovate the National Assembly. The total amount they spent in building the National Assembly by Babangida, according to they say it was 600 million naira. They used to build that National Assembly. But every year they renovate it with 125 billion, 150 billion, 200 billion. Renovating it alone. They are going to renovate it in 2022 budget as well. Right? It's also part of now let me save you all the breath, including how to change the diapers of Buhari, how to change what do you call it, the makeup and the sanitary pad of Aisha and the rest of them, including all the lifestyle they are going to live. In that 2022 budget, in your 17 trillion, they have carved out about 4.5 trillion for that alone. How they are going to pay themselves, how they are going to service presidential jets, how Buhari and Oshibajo will travel if they travel abroad, what they need. Do you know that just 2020 to 2021 alone, Buhari and Oshibajo, they spent 34 billion on traveling and food, just 1 year alone. In 2022, they've budgeted for them there too. Then ask yourselves, what happened to the rest of you, the 200 million Nigerians? What happened? You are on your own. Now, whatever is left is just a paltry 4 or so trillion naira. That 4 trillion naira, is what they now budgeted for hospitals, schools, roads, rails, and there's, every other thing in there for internal construction and the rest. Since they don't have 17 trillion, yeah, what did they do? They went to the National Assembly to take approval and get an approval to borrow 12 trillion. Now, listen to this. The 12 trillion they want to borrow, with the calculation I gave to you, you know that 12 trillion is to pay for their good business on the side, not to fund your development. So what they relied on now is that they can go abroad, yeah, and see if they will see anybody to borrow them money. So they can then attach such loans to some quack debilitating projects, which mostly are white elephant projects. That is the 2022 plan. Then how do they plan to raise the remaining 5 trillion if they are going to, they need 17 trillion? Yeah, 17 trillion to care for Nigeria in 2022. I've told you who they are going to care for. You've known that now, yeah? Now, they are going to have to borrow 12 trillion. Where do you think they're going to get the remaining 5 trillion? That's how broke, how poor these guys have made Nigeria. Worse than ever. But you feel it more, or you can keep giving them excuses and the rest, right? The 5 trillion, because more people are now jobless. It is not a rocket science. When you have more people working, that means more people will pay tax. That means more money for government. So if you have more businesses folding up, yeah, that means less money for government. Since there will be no money, yeah, they have to strangulate those of you who are still working, those of you who are still trading, those of you who are still saving money. They need to pick from everywhere they can get from. And how do they do it? I called it the pickpocket policies. Before these guys came in, value-added tax in Nigeria, VAT was 3.5% of everything you buy. But since they came in, they increased it. It is now 7.5% of what you buy. Yeah? And they are going to increase it by another 2.5% in 2022. Definitely your VAT will go up to 10% from next year. What does that tell you? Your bottled water will go up. Your, what do you call it? Your tin milk will go up. Your everything you pay for quickly, like all those little shoppings, your groceries and all of that, they will all go up by their certain amount of that percentage. So they believe they will squeeze more from you. But purchasing power of the people have been taken away. The naira they are holding has become so valueless. The pile of it you pack, the rubbish it looks. But they don't care. It is a simple economics. I'm not what do you call it? I'm not an economist. But I know that if I have a 500 naira or 500 pounds in my pocket, if I spend 400 from it, I am left with a 100. If I spend the 100, I am left with a 0. There's no economic terminology and whatever nonsense that will make me believe that I still have 500 when I have 0. Yeah? That's the case of Nigeria. If you create jobs, yeah, more people will be working. More people will be paying taxes. But in their case, they have no ability to create jobs to help the economy. On the other hand, the money they are mopping up from the entire system, they are downloading that into sponsoring terrorism, which has been the case. It never ended terrorism. It rather escalated it. So economy in ruin, government is broke, and they are going all out to steal whatever they can steal. These guys have stolen the money of the pensioners. If your parents are pensioners right now, you have no idea of the gloomy future that these criminals have plunged you or plunged them, including your family, into a financial mess that when the whole shit hit the fan, majority of those who are defending them, they will break down. They will break down in tears. And this is going to be like a complete meltdown for the disappointment, a complete fraud. Everywhere they touched, they loot. When they came in, the debt of Nigeria, I've been told, is 8.5 trillion naira. Now, when they take that 12 trillion between January and December 2022, they will push your debt to over 52 trillion naira. And that 52 trillion naira, trust me, will make your naira your naira even more worthless. And they might be telling you, as much as they love to cook figures to defend most of their lies or deceits that some of you buy into most of the time. Oh, we have created e-naira. Some people have subscribed to that. We are raising more money from this. Oh, we are raising bond here and there. It is what you use them for that really counts. But if you are convenient as they are now, as they are so convenient in taking and taking and taking, your own future, who are championing one Nigeria, is what they are gambling away right before your eyes. And the consequences of